You ever watch someone mess with the wrong person and not realize just how badly they screwed up until it was too late? That's what happened on a Tuesday morning when my wife decided to plant marigolds in front of our porch. Just marigolds, that's all. Bright little orange flowers, her favorite. She said they reminded her of her mom. I don't know, there was just something peaceful about the way she knelt there, sleeves rolled up, her hair tied back, a little dirt on her cheek. After the year we'd had, losing her job, her dad getting sick, this tiny flower bed, it was her way of taking something back. I was inside, sipping my coffee, watching through the screen door when the storm rolled in. Not clouds, HOA enforcers. 3 of them. Clipboard in hand, walkie-talkie clipped on like they were state troopers or something. Leading the charge was a guy named Craig. Tall, lean, shaved head, probably played high school football and never let go of that energy. Behind him was Dana, the kind of woman who wore sunglasses even in the shade, and a third guy I didn't recognize, just as smug. Craig didn't even bother with a hello. He looked down at my wife and barked, "This is unauthorized landscaping." She looked up, blinking, confused. "Sorry?" "You're altering common ground," Dana jumped in, flipping through her clipboard like it was a Bible. Section 1.4.b of the Green Valley HOA Code, plantings must be pre-approved. My wife stood up slowly, dirt still on her palms. "This is our property line. We measured it. We even confirmed with the county office." Craig didn't wait for her to finish. He bent down, grabbed a marigold by the stem and yanked it out like he was pulling a weed from the sidewalk, roots and all. My wife gasped, "Don't touch that!" And then Dana stepped forward and shoved her. I'm not exaggerating, shoved her back a few steps with her stupid clipboard like she was guarding a basketball court. "You're escalating this," she snapped. "You need to back off before we call security." Now, that's the moment everything changed. See, what they didn't know was I was standing 10 feet away behind a thin mesh door, and I'd just watched the whole thing. I hadn't said a word yet, but when I saw my wife stumble, her arms scrape against the porch railing, something old and familiar stirred inside me. Not rage, no. Rage burns hot and fast. This was something colder, quieter. I stepped outside. Craig turned, saw me, tried to get ahead of it. "Sir, we're in the middle of an HOA." "I saw," I said calmly. My wife crossed her arms, bruised but holding steady. Dana sneered. "Then maybe you can explain to your wife how HOA authority works." I stepped off the porch, slow and easy. "You just laid hands on a civilian," I said, "on private property. I hope you're ready to explain that to law enforcement." Craig let out this half laugh. "You think we're scared of a citation?" I took another step closer. "No, but you should be scared of federal assault charges." That hit different. Dana shifted her weight. Craig looked less sure. I didn't blink. "You didn't just shove someone's wife," I added. "You assaulted a decorated field medic right on the porch of a retired Navy SEAL." Silence. And now, let me say this. I don't go around tossing that title around like it's a weapon. But there are times when it matters. And this was one of them. My wife said nothing. She didn't need to. I pulled out my phone and started dialing. Dana scoffed. "You're seriously calling the police over flowers?" "No," I said, "over felony assault and trespassing." Craig tried to push back. "We have the authority of the HOA." "HOA isn't law," I cut him off. "You don't get to put your hands on people. You don't get to rip up private property. And you sure as hell don't get to act like some neighborhood Gestapo." Now that made them pause. Dana stammered, "We have body cams on." "Perfect," I said, smiling just a bit. "Then we'll have clean footage of you laying hands on a disabled veteran's spouse." And wouldn't you know it, right then the county sheriff's cruiser turned the corner. Tires crunching gravel, radio static humming from the dash. The deputy stepped out, big guy, clean boots, and immediately locked eyes with me. "Commander Brooks," he said, with a nod. "Credit? Commander?" The deputy turned to Dana. "You want to tell me why dispatch got a report of a physical altercation on federally deeded property?" Dana tried to recover. "This is HOA managed residential. We were just enforcing." He raised a hand. "Let me stop you right there. This lot is under a federal trust transferred 15 years ago through the Heroes Acre program. You're not just out of bounds, you're off the map." Craig looked pale. We didn't know." The deputy turned back to me. "You want to press charges?" I looked at my wife, her elbow still scraped, her eyes tired. She gave the faintest nod. Not out of spite, just enough. "Yes," I said, "we do." Dana's voice cracked. It was a misunderstanding. We didn't know." "You thought you could rough people up," I said, "and hide behind a clipboard?" The deputy didn't say a word. He was already writing. Names, location, statements. No rush, just methodical, like a man building something that'll stand up in court. Craig tried a different angle. "We're not criminals, we're just trying to uphold neighborhood standards." "You laid hands on a civilian," the deputy said. "On camera, on land you don't have jurisdiction over. You think a court's gonna care about your standards?" No one spoke after that. Then a black SUV rolled in. Not a cruiser, not local. It had government plates. Two men stepped out, plain clothes, one holding a folder, the other a small shoulder camera. They moved quiet, smooth, like they'd done this 100 times. One of them glanced my way. "Mr. Brooks?" I nodded. "We pulled your old service file and the original deed. This lot's part of a protected land boundary. We'll need statements. And if your cameras caught anything?" "We have it all," my wife said. She didn't mean just the footage. She meant the property line, the deed, even that petty email Dana sent accusing her of unauthorized planting. The investigator opened the folder. Inside was a satellite map with thick red lines. Right through our lot, right past the backyard, marked in blue, federal trust land. "This HOA has no authority here," he said. I looked at Craig. "You stepped on the wrong lawn." Dana was starting to tremble. "There were no markers," she whispered. "There were," my wife said. "You removed one 2 weeks ago. I saw it in your golf cart basket outside the clubhouse." The deputy's head turned like a turret. "You removed boundary markers?" Craig blurted, "We thought they were old." The investigator said, without emotion, "Tampering carries a 5-year penalty under federal code." And just when you think it can't get worse, Dana's phone started ringing. One of those obnoxious emergency tones. She fumbled it out of her bag, hit speaker without thinking. "Dana?" a man's voice barked. "What the hell did you do? I've got feds at my door. County legal's been calling. There's a cease and desist order incoming for the entire HOA board." I didn't know," she stammered. "They're here, law enforcement." "You're done," he said. "All of you. This hits the papers tomorrow morning." Click. Silence. The investigator closed his folder and turned to the deputy. "We'll collect statements and footage. No one from the HOA is to come within 50 feet of this property until further notice." The deputy nodded. Understood. Craig and Dana looked like they were trying to melt into the grass. I walked back to my wife, took her hand gently. Her eyes were red, but she wasn't crying. She just looked free. "I just wanted to grow something," she whispered. I smiled. "You did. You grew a fight they couldn't win." And as the investigators stepped back into their vehicle, and the HOA enforcers stood silent and stunned, I realized something. They brought clipboards. We brought truth. And sometimes that's all it takes.